Empowered Advocacy, Navigating Education and Opportunity in North Carolina, by Dr. Janet Johnson and the late Dr. Lee V. Stiff, a guide for parents of high schoolers to maximizing learning and future success. Chapter 1. Decoding Educational Speak, Empowering Parents in Advocacy. At the Parent-Teacher Conference, Mrs. Thompson was ready for a clear discussion about Alex's math placement for next year. However, the teacher greeted her with charts and a data-driven presentation. "Mrs. Thompson," he began energetically, "let's look at Alex's performance trajectory. His A on the final exam is commendable, as seen in this percentile ranking, but his initial D on the quiz is a point of concern. It's akin to a foundational discrepancy in his learning curve." Mrs. Thompson, trying to grasp the data, inquired, "So, are you saying the later A doesn't offset his early struggle with the unit's introduction?" The teacher, pointing to a graph showing a fluctuation in Alex's scores, explained, "Precisely. But there's a strategic approach to consider. Moving Alex to a foundational math class, as shown by this longitudinal performance analysis, can reinforce his core competencies. Reinforcing fundamentals can solidify his mathematical framework." Mrs. Thompson, now confronted with a barrage of data jargon, asked, "So, you're suggesting that simplifying his coursework will strengthen his math abilities?" "Absolutely," the teacher responded, showing a percentile comparison chart. "Starting with a robust foundation is essential. This class adjustment will target Alex's specific learning zones, ensuring a more stable progression in his math skills." As Mrs. Thompson left the conference, she felt overwhelmed by the data-heavy rationale for Alex's proposed placement in a lower-level class. Despite the graphs and percentile rankings, she questioned the logic behind the decision, especially given Alex's high achievement on the final exam. Frustrated, yet determined, she thought, "This doesn't add up. Alex has already demonstrated his capability. I need to advocate for him to ensure he's being challenged appropriately." Navigating the world of educational testing. Let's talk about the tests your kids will face in high school. You know, the formative, summative, benchmark kinds. These tests aren't just about grades. They're like a sneak peek into how your child is doing on their learning journey. But while we're on this topic, let's chat about something equally important: math classes, and why pushing for tougher ones can really make a difference. You've probably heard about kids getting shuffled into easier math to build a better foundation, right? Well, here's the catch. While this might sound good, research tells us that diving into more challenging math builds a sturdier, more versatile foundation. Think about it. When was the last time you heard those parents at the country club insisting their kids take the easier math route? Have you ever heard of educators complaining that the powerful socially elite parents are insisting that their children enroll in easier math classes to build better foundations, even though they are top-scoring math students? You haven't. That's because they know something vital. Tougher math equals better opportunities. It's not just about getting the hang of those tricky problems. We're talking about grooming your kid to think critically, to solve problems creatively, skills that are golden in college and beyond. And let's not forget about the SATs and ACTs. Research has shown that top students who enroll in advanced math score higher than similar students who enroll in the easier math classes in high school. The advanced courses tend to have the most experienced and best qualified teachers, and the curriculum is designed for conceptual understanding. Higher scores on these big tests, they're like golden tickets to a world of better colleges, more scholarships, and more doors swinging wide open. As you guide your child through their educational journey, understanding and using educational assessments as building blocks is key. Each test offers insights into your child's academic development, shaping their path forward. When it comes to math classes, it's crucial to advocate for the right level of challenge for your child. While the decision to enroll your child in more rigorous math courses might seem daunting, it's important to weigh the long-term benefits. Choosing a higher-level math class isn't just about tackling complex problems. It's about fostering critical thinking skills, an essential tool in higher education and the professional world. Be aware, however, that numerous studies have shown that a vast number of students who could succeed in these more challenging classes are not placed in them. This means that your advocacy is not just about selecting the appropriate level for your child, but also about ensuring they are not inadvertently held back from opportunities they are well equipped to handle. Types of formative assessments. Quizzes. These are quick checks that teachers use to gauge understanding on a specific topic. Think of them as the temperature checks in education, giving immediate feedback on how well the material is being absorbed. Checked homework. This isn't just about marking things right or wrong. Teachers review homework to identify areas where students might be struggling, offering a chance to address issues before they become stumbling blocks. Online learning programs. Online learning programs often provide detailed data on where each student is in their learning process, helping to tailor instruction to meet individual needs. In advocating for your child, it's crucial to assess their capabilities and interests. While challenging them academically is important, it's equally vital to ensure that they are not overwhelmed. Balancing these factors will help your child grow into a well-rounded individual, equipped with the skills necessary for success in an ever-evolving academic and professional landscape. Imagine this. While some parents might opt for the easier math track, aiming for the more rigorous path paves the way for broader academic and career opportunities. It's about setting higher expectations and watching your child rise to meet them. And let's not overlook the impact on standardized testing. A strong foundation in advanced math often translates into better performance on exams like the SAT and ACT, unlocking doors to prestigious colleges and scholarships. So, as we delve into understanding educational tests, let's also focus on making strategic choices in course selection. By championing more challenging math classes, you're not just helping your child navigate the current academic waters. You're setting them up for a journey filled with rich opportunities and potential for success. Let's examine the different kinds of tests. Formative assessments, guiding steps in learning. Imagine formative assessments as being like taste tests in the kitchen while preparing a complex dish. Just as a chef samples the sauce to understand what's missing or what's just right, formative assessments are tools for both the teacher and the student to pinpoint what's been grasped and what still needs work. It's a bit like trying out a new recipe. You wouldn't keep adding salt if it's already seasoned perfectly, right? Similarly, these assessments help ensure that students aren't just spinning their wheels learning something they've already mastered. It's completely natural in cooking to adjust as you go, just like it's normal in learning not to get everything right on the first try. Think about learning to ride a bike. You don't just hop on and zoom off. You wobble, you adjust, you learn. That's what formative assessments are in the classroom. They're the training wheels that give students and teachers insights into where the balance is off, allowing for real-time adjustments in learning strategies. In essence, formative assessments shift the educational approach from a one-shot, pass-or-fail model to a more dynamic, interactive process. Just as a gardener doesn't just plant seeds and hope for the best, but rather nurtures, prunes, and adjusts care based on how the plants are growing. Teachers use these assessments to nurture and guide their students' learning journey. They are crucial checkpoints, not final judgments, reflecting the understanding that teaching and learning are evolving processes, not just end results. Summative assessments, the culmination of learning. Think of summative assessments as the grand finale of a theatrical performance. After weeks of rehearsals, the actors take to the stage, showcasing their talent and the culmination of their hard work. Similarly, summative assessments are comprehensive evaluations that occur at the end of an instructional period. These could be at the end of a unit, semester, or even the academic year. Just as a final performance in a theater provides a complete picture of the actor's abilities and the effectiveness of the rehearsals, summative assessments offer a holistic view of a student's understanding of the subject matter. They measure the extent to which students have mastered the curriculum and are often used for grading purposes. It would be unreasonable to suggest that an actor who delivers a flawless performance be barred from participating in a play simply because they initially struggled to remember their lines during early rehearsals. In the same vein, it's unjust to conclude that a student who excels in their final exam should be held back from advancing in their studies due to early struggles with the material on an initial quiz. Both scenarios emphasize growth and the culmination of effort and understanding, rather than focusing solely on initial challenges. While they might seem high stakes, summative assessments are an integral part of the educational process, offering both teachers and students valuable feedback on their achievements and areas that may need further development or reinforcement. They help in shaping future instructional strategies and in setting academic goals for students. Rewind the conversation. Let's redo this conversation with Mrs. Thompson, understanding the different roles of formative and summative assessment. In this parent-teacher conference, Mrs. Thompson was prepared to discuss Alex's academic progress, now with a clear understanding of formative assessments. As the teacher raised concerns about Alex's first quiz score, Mrs. Thompson nodded and said, "I see what you mean." Those early quizzes are formative assessments, helping us see what Alex initially struggled with. "That's correct," the teacher replied. His early scores were not as strong. Mrs. Thompson, however, had a key point to add. But his recent final unit test, Alex scored an A, right? Doesn't that show he's mastered the material that he initially found challenging? It seems to me that he's not only caught up but excelled in understanding the concepts. I believe this summative test tells us where he is now, while the earlier formative quiz told us where he needed more support initially. The teacher paused, considering her point. Yes, his performance on the final was impressive. So, reverting back to easier material, or a lower-level math class, doesn't seem to make sense in this context, Mrs. Thompson continued. If he's demonstrated such clear improvement and mastery, shouldn't we be looking at ways to keep challenging him? Otherwise, aren't we risking holding him back from progressing further? The teacher acknowledged her perspective. You have a valid point, Mrs. Thompson. Alex's strong performance on the final test is indeed indicative of his grasp of the material. Let's discuss how we can continue to challenge him appropriately in his math studies. As the meeting concluded, Mrs. Thompson felt relieved and satisfied, having effectively advocated for Alex's continued advancement in math, leveraging her understanding of the significance of his progress in formative and summative assessments, benchmark assessments, curriculum checkpoints, and college readiness indicators. Benchmarks are typically used to gauge a student's preparedness for future academic challenges, be it the next level of schooling, a new concept within a course, or readiness for college-level coursework. They serve more as a barometer to measure educational progress against specific standards or goals, rather than a tool for assigning grades to individual students. The class or school scores on benchmark tests might indicate that some standards are not being taught well. These tests are not about penalizing students for what they don't know, but rather about identifying areas where further support or development is needed. Benchmarks can be constructive and guiding tools in a student's educational journey. In a broader context, benchmarks are often used to gauge readiness to succeed moving forward. A notable example is the ACT subject matter benchmarks. These benchmarks are specifically designed scores on the ACT test that indicate the likelihood of a student succeeding in first-year college courses. ACT College Ready Benchmarks. English. A score of 18 or higher indicates a student is prepared for college-level English. Math. A score of 22 or higher suggests readiness for college algebra. Reading. Scoring 22 or more points indicates the ability to handle college social science courses. Science. A score of 23 or above signifies readiness for introductory college biology. These benchmarks compare students' performance against established criteria of college readiness, offering valuable insights for students, parents, and educators. Understanding these scores can help in making informed decisions about a student's readiness for college-level work and in identifying areas where additional focus or support might be beneficial. Thus, benchmark assessments are more than just a reflection of an individual student's progress. They are a vital tool in measuring and improving educational effectiveness and preparing students for future academic challenges. Standardized assessments, understanding end of grade, EOG, and end of course, EOC, assessments. In North Carolina, students encounter standardized assessments throughout their school years. Evolution and transformation of standardized testing. Rethinking the traditional approach. North Carolina. Standardized tests. End of grade, EOG. Math and reading, grades 3 through 8. Science, grades 5 and 8. End of course, EOC. Math 1, Math 3, Biology, English 2. Originally, standardized tests were designed to evaluate students' cognitive abilities, with tasks like pattern recognition or passage-based comprehension questions. The results ranked students, labeling those at the top as the best thinkers. However, this approach overlooked a critical factor. Cultural experiences and prior learning, including vocabulary exposure, significantly influenced these scores. This realization brought to light the inherent bias of these tests. They may not have truly identified the best thinkers, but rather reflected the advantages of certain socioeconomic and cultural backgrounds. Shift in testing philosophy and educational equity. The adoption of the No Child Left Behind (NCLB) Act marked a significant shift in this approach. States, including North Carolina, were required to establish clear educational standards for each core subject and grade level. As a result, standardized tests evolved from percentile rankings to a more equitable level score system, focusing on measuring how well students had learned these set standards. Understanding North Carolina's level score system. North Carolina's standardized tests now classify student performance into 5 levels: Level 1 and Level 2. These levels indicate a limited mastery of the standards, signaling that students may need additional support to succeed in the next grade. Level 3. This level represents basic proficiency, showing that the student has met the essential standards. Level 4. A solid mastery of the standards is denoted by this level. Level 5. This highest level signifies an exceptional understanding and mastery of the curriculum. Contrasting sharply with the old system, where only a small group was identified as top performers, the level system is designed with a broader achievement goal. Ideally, most students will achieve Level 3 or higher, proving they have effectively learned the grade-appropriate material that they have been taught. A new educational paradigm. This transformation reflects a profound change in educational beliefs. The focus has shifted from categorizing a select group of best thinkers to creating a learning environment where every student has the opportunity to excel. This new approach challenges the outdated belief that advanced mathematical and scientific understanding is reserved for a select few. It recognizes that any student, given proper instruction and support, can advance to higher levels of learning if they have successfully grasped the material in their current courses. Incorporated into this paradigm shift is the growing use of adaptive online learning programs. These programs are designed to assess and respond to a student's understanding in real time. They identify when a student has mastered a concept and are ready to move forward, ensuring progress is based on individual mastery rather than a predetermined notion of who is a good thinker. This aspect of adaptive learning contrasts sharply with older educational models, which often moved students forward based on broad categorizations rather than their actual grasp of the material. This more inclusive and dynamic approach promotes access to challenging educational tracks for a diverse student population, acknowledging that the potential for academic success exists in every student. The role of parents in the new testing landscape. For parents, understanding and adapting to this shift is crucial. Test scores should now be viewed as indicators of a student's learning progress and potential support needs, rather than rigid markers of ability. This paradigm shift empowers parents to advocate for their children's educational needs, ensuring that every student can reach their full potential, regardless of their cultural or socioeconomic background. Checklist for parents. Reviewing your child's test scores. Understand test types. Know if it's formative, summative, or benchmark. Understand what each test measures and what it tells you. Contextualize performance. Think about any outside factors, like illness. Reflect on how much effort your child put in. Find improvement areas. Spot where scores are low. Look for patterns in test results. Make a support plan. Decide on extra help like tutoring. Support their learning at home. Set achievable goals. Work with your child to set goals. Have both short and long-term goals. Talk to teachers. Discuss test results with them. Ask how you can help your child. Track progress. Keep an eye on how they're doing. Talk openly about school and feelings. Encourage positive attitudes. Praise their effort, not just grades. Chapter 2. A changing cultural context. Mrs. Thompson had her conversations about math placement very early in high school. Mrs. Garcia's were later. Here is how her conversation went. Mrs. Garcia: I'm just so confused. My daughter Sophia has been getting A's in all her math classes, and she's scored level 4 or 5 on all of her EOGs, but she only scored a 17 on the ACT math section. I thought that with her grades, she'd be ready for college math. Levels 4 and 5 are labeled career and college ready, but now her ACT math score says she is not college ready. School counselor, Mr. Bennett: I understand your concern, Mrs. Garcia. The thing is, the term career and college ready that's used as a label for the North Carolina standardized tests doesn't mean a student is truly prepared for college-level math. It's just what we call it, but it's not based on any real data or analysis of what it takes to be successful in college-level courses. Mrs. Garcia: But I thought that career and college ready label meant she was set up for success in college math. Mr. Bennett: No, that's not the case. The ACT's college readiness benchmarks, on the other hand, are based on their analysis of test scores and who has been successful in entry-level college math, English, and science courses. Their math benchmark of a 22 is a much more accurate indicator of whether a student is prepared for that level of work. Mrs. Garcia: So you're telling me that the career and college ready label I've been seeing on her reports is basically meaningless? I can't believe I've been so misled about her readiness for college math. Mr. Bennett: Unfortunately, yes. The career and college ready label doesn't reflect a student's true preparedness for college-level work. It's more of a general indicator, not an analysis of their ability to succeed. Mrs. Garcia: Wow, I had no idea. So even though Sophia has been doing well in her high school math classes, she's still not ready for college math, according to the ACT. How can she be getting A's in all of her math classes for the last 3 years if she doesn't understand things? Mr. Bennett: Exactly. The focus in her math courses has been more on computational skills rather than deep conceptual understanding, which is what the ACT math section really assesses. Her grades don't necessarily translate to being prepared for college-level math. She is in the foundational math classes. Mrs. Garcia: What do you mean by foundational math classes? This is all so frustrating. I feel like I've been operating under false assumptions about her readiness. What does this mean for Sophia's future? Mr. Bennett: Well, the good news is that there are options. Many students find success by starting at a community college, where they can take non-credit math courses to build a stronger foundation in the conceptual understanding needed for college-level work. It's a very common path and doesn't reflect poorly on Sophia's abilities. Mrs. Garcia: I just wish I had known all of this earlier. It's going to be a real adjustment for her to have to potentially take remedial math courses in college, even after getting good grades in high school. Mr. Bennett: I understand your frustration, Mrs. Garcia, but the important thing is that we work together to find the best path forward for Sophia, one that plays to her strengths and interests. With the right support, she can absolutely achieve her goals, even if the route isn't exactly what you expected. The evolution of opportunity and access. The landscape of American education, mirroring the broader cultural shifts, has undergone significant changes over the past several decades. Traditionally, career paths and educational opportunities were influenced more by societal biases than by a true understanding of an individual's capabilities. What was once attributed to innate talent or aptitude was often a product of unequal access to education and opportunities, deeply segmented by race, gender, and socioeconomic status. As Dr. Lee Stiff said to Dr. Janet Johnson when she first showed him data that revealed how many very high-scoring minority students were in remedial math classes, well, they didn't used to think we could play baseball either. The misconception of exclusive rigor and the Common Core transition. For many years, the educational system operated under the belief that only top thinkers were suited for rigorous academic subjects like math. This led to a tiered structure in education, with advanced, standard, and remedial tracks not only differing in pace, but also in the method of teaching. The advanced track often focused on conceptual understanding, while the other tracks centered more on procedural learning. The introduction of Common Core aimed to revolutionize this approach. The core idea was to ensure all math tracks taught a more rigorous curriculum, emphasizing conceptual understanding akin to what was traditionally reserved for the advanced tracks. The goal was to enable all students, regardless of their track, to grasp not just how to compute, but also the underlying concepts of what they were computing. However, the rollout of Common Core math encountered significant challenges. Many teachers, particularly those instructing non-advanced math classes, had themselves not been educated in a rigorously conceptual track. As a result, they often misunderstood the intent of the new curriculum. They interpreted conceptual illustrations as new computational methods, leading to a series of well-intentioned but misapplied teaching techniques. This misinterpretation gave rise to the myriad of confusing and seemingly absurd examples that proliferated on social media, turning public opinion against Common Core. The original vision of Common Core was consistent with the emerging educational paradigm that recognizes the capacity of nearly all students to grasp rigorous material. Unfortunately, the implementation was flawed, underscoring the importance of comprehensive teacher training and gradual, thoughtful curriculum transitions. The concept behind the Common Core remains valuable and aligned with modern educational beliefs, but its execution highlighted the complexities of reforming deeply ingrained educational practices and beliefs. The role of data and teacher judgment. From bias to data-driven decisions. Historically, math placement heavily relied on teacher judgment, often resulting in a diverse range of abilities in the most rigorous courses, and many high-achieving students being overlooked. Studies have shown that placement decisions, when controlled for previous math scores, reveal biases related to race and income. The shift with NCLB. Before the No Child Left Behind Act, federal education programs often targeted students based on demographics, such as eligibility for free lunch, branding them as at risk regardless of their academic performance. NCLB transformed this approach, mandating that programs focus on students who, according to standardized test scores, had not mastered grade-level standards. This marked a significant departure from demographic-based to performance-based support. This transition was not smooth. Federal funds for some programs that had previously served students who received free lunch could only serve free lunch students who scored below grade level on their standardized tests. There was little to no training to explain this transition to educators. Before NCLB, these federal programs often were designed for students who were below grade level, but they served all the students who received free lunch. After NCLB, many educators simply thought the students who had received free lunch must have all scored below grade, so they continued to enroll students who received free lunch into these programs, embracing a new paradigm. The paradigm shift in education. Educators and the system at large are currently navigating this paradigm shift, realizing that rigorous math is not just for a select few. Now, there's a growing recognition that any student who has mastered previous standards can succeed in more advanced math, essential for many career paths today. Teach them to see challenges as chances to learn. Reflection. As we close this chapter, let's remember the lessons from Dr. Lee Stiff's enduring legacy. It's essential to cultivate the expectation that all children, including yours, have the capacity to learn and excel in mathematics. This belief challenges the outdated and limiting narrative that only some are math people or good thinkers. If you ever find yourself thinking, "I am not a math person," consider that this may stem from an educational system that historically categorized students into arbitrary groups based on their perceived mathematical abilities. This belief has been ingrained in many of us, but understanding its flawed basis is the first step towards changing it. In redefining our expectations for our children, we not only encourage their academic success in mathematics, but also help break the cycle of self-limiting beliefs. By believing in and fostering their potential to master complex concepts, we empower them with confidence and resilience in their learning journey. Let us honor Dr. Stiff's vision by embracing this new paradigm. Challenge the old narrative and provide an environment where every child is seen as capable and ready to thrive in mathematics. In doing so, we build a legacy of educational equity, where every student, regardless of background, sees themselves as capable learners, fully equipped for success. Checklist for parents. Make the shift. Encourage a growth mindset. Avoid suggesting to your child that your family is not math-brained. Reinforce the idea that ability in math is developed through learning and practice, not inherited. Praise effort and progress in math, not just natural ability or high scores. Support learning at home. Encourage your child's math learning at home with resources that complement schoolwork. Consider online tools, tutoring, or math clubs that can reinforce learning and spark interest. Promote a broader view of math. Encourage your child to see math not just as a subject in school, but as a skill that applies to many areas of life and various career paths. Chapter 3. Legislative changes in North Carolina. In response to a growing demand for fair and equal access to advanced education, North Carolina enacted legislation in 2018, known as NC House Bill 986. This law mandated that students who achieve the highest scores on standardized math tests are to be enrolled in the most challenging math classes available. This move marked a significant stride in making education more equitable, ensuring that a student's demonstrated mastering of prerequisite knowledge, rather than any inherent biases, guides their academic path. The legislation was further reinforced in 2019 with the introduction of North Carolina Senate Bill 500. While achieving the highest test score is not the sole criterion for success in advanced math, the law guarantees that students who do achieve these top scores are not denied access. It allows teachers to continue recommending students with lower standardized test scores for advanced courses, while also obliging them to accommodate students who score at the highest levels. Historically, the path to advanced math classes in high school was often predetermined by middle school placements. Typically, students identified for the advanced track took algebra, or Math 1, in middle school. These students then, almost exclusively, progressed to honors math classes in high school. For those who faced challenges in middle school algebra, a special elective course named Math 1 Plus was available in high school to help them stay on the advanced track. However, this option was not accessible to high-scoring students who were not on the advanced track in middle school. Essentially, middle school served as the gateway to advanced math. There was no other way in. Under the new legislation, students who may not have taken algebra in middle school, perhaps due to scheduling conflicts or lack of availability, but who score at level 5 on the Math 1 EOG in high school, now can enroll in honors math courses. This change dismantles the middle school gate and opens opportunities based on demonstrated ability rather than past course placements. However, developments in 2019 cast a shadow over the effectiveness of this legislation. That year saw a recalibration of the scoring ranges for level scores, with a significant impact on high school students' performance on the Math 1 EOC. The change was so drastic that virtually no high school student managed to achieve level 5, a stark contrast to previous years, where a substantial number, especially in affluent areas, routinely hit this top mark. This shift was not immediately evident, as the school report cards began reporting levels 4 and 5 as a combined category. However, a closer look at the district report cards, which separated these levels, revealed a startling fact. Statewide, no high school student was scoring at level 5 on the Math 1 EOC. Consequently, the well-intentioned bill, aimed at opening doors to advanced math classes based on merit, seemed to have lost its potency due to these changes in scoring. To investigate further, especially considering the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on educational outcomes, the authors examined data from high-achieving schools in Wake and Mecklenburg counties. Interestingly, the percentage of students meeting the benchmark on ACT math remained consistent, suggesting that the drop in level 5 scores was not a result of a general decline in math abilities. This situation highlights a crucial point for parents. The absence of a level 5 score for your child in high school math is not an anomaly, but a widespread outcome under the current scoring system. Thus, not achieving level 5 should not be seen as a reflection of your child's capabilities or potential in math. Understanding the shifts. As parents, comprehending these shifts in educational perspectives and practices is crucial. Understanding how math education has evolved from a rigid, biased system to one that strives for equity and data-driven decisions can empower you to better advocate for your child's educational needs and opportunities. But you must act early. The way the math tracks are structured now, switching tracks in high school would be very difficult. Even the brightest student would be way behind in conceptual understanding if they moved math tracks after Math 1. Let's rewind Mrs. Garcia's conversation to the start of Sophia's freshman year. Rewind the conversation. Mrs. Garcia is informed about the legislation, about the importance of proper math placement, and she can identify which math classes are remedial. Sophia has been placed in introductory math for 9th grade. Mrs. Garcia meets with the school counselor at the beginning of the year. Mrs. Garcia, fully aware of the educational legislation and its implications, met with Mr. Bennett to discuss Sophia's math placement. Mrs. Garcia: I'm concerned about Sophia's math placement. She consistently scored level 4 and 5 on her EOGs in middle school, and with a level 5 in her 8th grade math EOG, shouldn't she have been placed in the most rigorous course available, not in introductory math? Mr. Bennett: Yes, Mrs. Garcia. The legislation supports placing students scoring level 5 into advanced tracks, but we don't have an Honors Math 1 course at our school. Mrs. Garcia: If she scores level 5 on the Math 1 EOC, will she then be placed in Honors Math 2? Mr. Bennett: Typically, yes. Level 5 on the EOC would qualify her for that. Mrs. Garcia: But looking at the district's report card, no high school students in the state scored level 5 on the Math 1 EOC last year. It seems unlikely that Sophia will reach level 5 under these circumstances. Mr. Bennett, checking the report card and finding her statement accurate, was momentarily lost for words. Mr. Bennett: Well, the standard Math 1 course is comprehensive. It's designed to provide a solid foundation. Mrs. Garcia, firm and composed: The law should have resulted in Sophia being placed in the most rigorous course. Yet, she was placed in the most remedial. She needs to be in Math 1 Plus to be on the honors path. There's no official policy preventing her from enrolling in it, right? This practice is just a holdover from the outdated system where middle school Math 1 was the gate. I'll arrange for a tutor to ensure she starts strong. Mr. Bennett, realizing Mrs. Garcia's understanding of the situation: I see your point, Mrs. Garcia. Let me investigate making an exception for Sophia to enroll in Math 1 Plus. Your proactive approach and commitment to her education are commendable. Mrs. Garcia: Thank you, Mr. Bennett. It's important that Sophia's educational path reflects her abilities and potential, not just systemic limitations. After Mrs. Garcia left the office, Mr. Bennett sat back, deep in thought. Enrolling Sophia in Math 1 Plus was uncharted territory for him, and it brought with it a wave of concerns. He couldn't help but worry about the potential backlash from the parents in the more affluent country club segment of the school community. These parents had long viewed the honors track as a privilege for a select group, often their own children, who were funneled into this pathway from middle school. Mr. Bennett knew that opening this door for Sophia, while fair and justified, could ignite their fury. They might see it as a threat to the exclusivity of the honors track, something they had come to see as a right for their children rather than a merit-based opportunity. As he pondered the possible consequences, Mr. Bennett also worried about the broader implications. If word got out about Sophia's exception, it could lead to more parents questioning the rigid system and demanding similar opportunities for their children. This could unravel the control he had long maintained over access to the honors math track, a control that, until now, had gone unquestioned. In the quiet of his office, Mr. Bennett hoped Mrs. Garcia wouldn't share the details of their arrangement with other parents. Keeping this a one-off exception seemed crucial to maintaining the status quo, a system he wasn't sure he was ready to see transformed, despite its evident inequities. The prospect of facing these challenges made him uneasy. Yet, deep down, a part of him knew that this change was not only inevitable, but necessary for a fairer and more equitable educational landscape. The enactment of legislation guaranteeing access to Math 1 in middle school significantly enhanced the representation of minority students on the honors math track, achieving a level 5 on the Math 1. End-of-course exam opened doors for these students to advance to honors Math 2 in high school. However, adjustments to the scoring range for level 5, which effectively raised the threshold for achieving this score, had the potential to diminish this progress to some extent. Despite this change in scoring, the rigorous instruction provided in 8th grade math has consistently led to high performance among many students. Checklist for parents. Navigating math education. Post-legislative changes in North Carolina. Understand the new legislation. Familiarize yourself with the details of North Carolina House Bill 986 and North Carolina Senate Bill 500. Know how these laws affect math track placements based on standardized test scores. Be aware that many students who did not score level 5 are in advanced math courses and do fine. Review past program. Participation. Review any programs or services your child participated in earlier in their schooling. Assess whether these were based on demographics that could have led to stereotyping or limiting your child's opportunities in advanced math. Advocate for appropriate placement. If you believe your child's placement in math does not reflect their abilities, schedule a meeting with school counselors or teachers to discuss potential adjustments. Be prepared to provide evidence of your child's capabilities, such as past grades or test scores. Stay informed about school policies. Keep up to date with any changes in school or district policies regarding math course offerings and placements. Chapter 3. Graduation requirements versus college admission requirements. Mrs. Parker. Mr. Shaw, I'm confused and upset. Jason has graduated, but now for his program at the Community College in Advanced Technological Manufacturing, he's required to take non-credit math courses. I thought his CTE courses counted towards his math credits. Why is this happening? Mr. Shaw, school counselor. Mrs. Parker, I understand your concern. While Jason's CTE courses fulfilled his math credits for high school graduation, the math requirements for community college, especially for technical programs, are different. These programs typically require specific math courses for credit, which the CTE class substitutions don't cover. Mrs. Parker. So the CTE courses were sufficient for his high school diploma, but inadequate for the community college requirements. Mr. Shaw. Yes, that's correct. In high school, particularly for students on the CTE track, there's a routine practice of encouraging the use of course substitutions to ensure on-time graduation. The focus has been more on vocational skills than on academic math, under the assumption that these students might not need extensive math for their future careers. This practice, however, can inadvertently overlook the math requirements of their continued education or chosen career paths. Mrs. Parker. But Jason's chosen field in community college, advanced technological manufacturing, requires solid math skills. It seems counterintuitive that he wasn't guided to take the necessary math courses in high school that align with his career choice. Mr. Shaw. I see your point, Mrs. Parker, and I apologize for any oversight. This situation highlights a gap in our advising process. We often make general assumptions about CTE students' needs without fully considering the specific requirements of their future academic or career paths. I'll take this as a learning opportunity to better align our high school CTE advising with post-secondary requirements. Mrs. Parker. I just wish this was made clear to us earlier. Now, Jason is facing delays and additional challenges that could have been avoided. Mr. Shaw. Your feedback is valuable, and I assure you we will work to improve our counseling services to prevent such issues in the future. I'm here to support Jason in any way I can as he navigates this next phase of his education. In the rapidly evolving educational landscape of North Carolina, understanding the distinction between high school graduation requirements and college admission requirements is more critical than ever. Recent initiatives and legislative changes have highlighted a significant gap between graduating from high school and being prepared for college-level work. Addressing remedial education needs. A considerable number of North Carolina high school graduates find themselves underprepared for college, especially in mathematics. For instance, a report indicates that in 2017, nearly 72% of North Carolina juniors failed to meet the college-ready benchmark in math on the ACT. This statistic is alarming and underscores the need for more alignment between high school exit standards and college entrance expectations. The gap between graduation and college readiness. In response, North Carolina has made strides in aligning high school curricula with college expectations. Legislation like Section 10.13 of the North Carolina Session Law 2015-241 and subsequent amendments have directed high schools and community colleges to collaborate, providing opportunities for students to meet remedial education requirements before graduating high school. However, despite these efforts, challenges in implementation and the shifting landscape of standardized testing present ongoing hurdles. North Carolina has actively been working to address the disconnect between high school graduation standards and college readiness, particularly through the Career and College Ready Graduates (CCRG) program. This collaborative effort between the State Board of Community Colleges and the State Board of Education is designed to lessen the need for developmental math courses at the college level. The CCRG program stands as a testament to the growing understanding that meeting high school graduation requirements doesn't always equate to being prepared for the mathematical demands of college coursework. Scoring what is reported as Career and College Ready on the NCEOG or NCEOC is not the same as meeting the benchmarks for being ready for college courses. Over time, various strategies have been employed to tackle this challenge. Community colleges have offered non-credit developmental modules to bring students up to speed, while four-year colleges have provided not-for-credit algebra courses. Online models and lab sessions paired with entry-level community college math courses have also been explored as solutions. More recently, the introduction of a high school course named CCRG Math, which revisits fundamental math skills, signifies yet another approach to bridging this gap. Each of these initiatives underlines a crucial distinction. There's a marked difference between merely meeting a math credit requirement and possessing the proficiency necessary to succeed in college-level math courses. The aim is not just to help students fulfill a graduation checklist, but to genuinely equip them with the skills and knowledge they need for academic success beyond high school. The reality in high schools. High schools report a significant portion of their students taking longer, slower-paced versions of math courses, which were originally intended for struggling students. This shift has inadvertently led to many high-performing students being enrolled in these courses, affecting their preparedness for college-level math. The disconnection between high school graduation requirements and college admission standards, particularly in math, is a pressing issue. As parents and educators, understanding this divide and the efforts being made to bridge it is crucial for guiding students through their educational journey, ensuring they are not only able to graduate, but also to succeed in their post-secondary endeavors. High school math course options checklist for parents. Understanding high school math course options is crucial for guiding your child through their academic journey. This checklist is designed to help you navigate the various math courses and make informed decisions about your child's education. Assess your child's current level. Review your child's scores on middle school end-of-grade EOG tests. Students who consistently scored level 1 or 2 might start with foundational courses like Fundamental Math or Introductory Math. Understand the standard math sequence. The standard math sequence for college readiness in North Carolina includes Math 1, Math 2, Math 3, and a fourth higher-level math course. For admission to North Carolina four-year colleges and for credit math courses in community college, completing this sequence is crucial. Be cautious of remedial versions. Some schools offer remedial versions of Math 1, 2, and 3, often split into two parts each, A and B. Research indicates that students who scored level 4 or 5 in 8th grade but take these remedial courses score lower on the ACT math section compared to those in standard courses. Consider whether the standard or remedial track is best suited for your child's needs and future goals. Explore honors and advanced options. Investigate honors or advanced math course availability. Typically, students who took Math 1 in middle school proceed to honors classes in high school. Understand the process and criteria for enrolling in these courses. Inquire about Math 1+ or equivalent courses. Some districts offer a course like Math 1+ for students who need to retake Math 1 while staying on the honors track. This option is generally available only to students who are on the advanced track in middle school. Understand credit substitution in CTE tracks. Be aware and wary of the option to substitute CTE, career and technical education, courses for math credits. Some CTE courses can be substituted for math credits, but this may not align with community college or four-year college requirements. Many CTE pathways require a sound foundation in math. Regularly consult with school counselors. Schedule meetings with school counselors to discuss the best math course trajectory for your child. Address any concerns about course placement and future implications. Stay informed about changes in policies. Keep up to date with any changes in math course offerings, graduation requirements, and college admission standards. Encourage your child's input. Include your child in the decision-making process, ensuring that their interests and strengths are considered. Advocate for appropriate placement. Be prepared to advocate for your child's placement in courses that will provide the best opportunities for their academic and future career success. Rewind the conversation. This is the conversation Mrs. Shaw should have had early in Jason's high school career. Mrs. Parker: Mr. Shaw, I noticed that after completing Math 2, Jason isn't scheduled for any more math classes. Shouldn't he be taking more math in his junior and senior years? Mr. Shaw, school counselor: Actually, Mrs. Parker, Jason doesn't need to take additional math classes for his high school graduation. His CTE courses provide him with the necessary math credits. This meets the graduation requirements for high school. Mrs. Parker: I understand that might be sufficient for high school graduation, but what about college readiness? I'm concerned that without more traditional math courses, Jason might not meet the minimum requirements for North Carolina's four-year colleges, or for certain programs at community colleges, including the CTE career path he's interested in. Mr. Shaw: You bring up a valid point. While the CTE courses fulfill high school graduation requirements, they don't align with the math prerequisites for most four-year colleges and several community college career pathways. If Jason decides to pursue these routes, he might indeed need additional math courses, some of which could be non-credit classes that aren't covered by financial aid like the Pell Grant. Mrs. Parker: So, while these CTE courses help him graduate on time from high school, they limit his options and potentially create additional hurdles for post-secondary education. Mr. Shaw: That's correct. My focus as a counselor is often on ensuring students graduate on time from high school, but I understand your concern about post-graduation pathways. It's a balancing act between meeting immediate graduation requirements and preparing for future educational opportunities. Mrs. Parker: Then I think we need to revisit Jason's course schedule. I want to ensure that he's not only graduating on time, but also keeping his options open for college and his career. Chapter 4. Early Planning and Informed Decisions. Chapter Review. The Power of Informed Advocacy in Education. As we conclude this journey through understanding and navigating the educational landscape for your child, let's review the key ideas and strategies that have been discussed in this book. These insights are vital in ensuring your child not only thrives in high school, but is also well prepared for college and beyond. Understanding test data. Become proficient in interpreting test data. This knowledge prevents educators from using complex data talk to intimidate or dissuade you from effective advocacy. Knowing math course options. Familiarize yourself with the various math courses available at your child's school and understand which are advanced, standard, and remedial. This understanding is crucial for making informed decisions about your child's academic path. Leveraging relevant legislation. Be aware of key legislations, such as North Carolina House Bill 986 and Senate Bill 500, that affect educational pathways, especially in mathematics. These laws can be powerful tools in advocating for your child's right to advanced education. Level 5. Scores and success. Recognize that scoring at level 5, while commendable, is not a prerequisite for success in math or academic excellence. With the changed scoring ranges making level 5 scores rare in high school Math 1, many successful students in advanced tracks did not achieve this score. Starting early. Begin planning for your child's educational journey as early as possible. Choices made in middle school or early high school set the stage for later academic achievements and college readiness. Shifting the math mindset. Let go of the notion that only a specific type of person is capable of learning math. Remember Dr. Lee Stiff's words, "They didn't used to think we could play baseball. We weren't good enough for the major leagues," and apply this perspective to democratize access to rigorous math education. College admission versus graduation requirements. Understand the difference between the minimum college admission requirements and high school graduation requirements. What suffices for high school graduation might not align with what is required for college admissions. Community college career paths and math skills. Acknowledge that many community college career paths demand strong math skills, not necessarily calculus, but a robust understanding of algebra and arithmetic. The power of early planning. Early planning in your child's education is essential. High school is indeed a 4-year journey, but the choices you make early on, such as enrolling in algebra in middle school, can open doors to higher-level math in high school. These courses are often prerequisites for competitive college programs and pivotal for your child's future academic and career prospects. In closing, remember that your role as a parent and advocate is fundamental. Your involvement, understanding, and early planning can make a significant difference in your child's educational trajectory, setting them up for success in college and their chosen career path. Dr. Lee V. Stiff. Dr. Lee V. Stiff, a trailblazer in mathematics education and a beacon of inspiration, overcame humble beginnings to become a leading figure in the field. Born to a factory worker with a limited formal education, Lee's journey from a rural upbringing to academic prominence is a testament to the transformative power of education. His passion for mathematics was ignited by his high school teacher, Dr. Dudley Flood, who recognized and nurtured his talent, propelling him from poverty to prominence. After earning his bachelor's degree in mathematics from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, Dr. Stiff went on to complete a master's degree at Duke University and a doctorate in mathematics education from North Carolina State University. His career spanned teaching at middle and high school levels, professorship at UNC Charlotte and NCSU, and serving as president of the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics. Dr. Stiff's leadership in NCTM was marked by advocacy for a balanced approach to mathematics education, emphasizing both computational skills and conceptual understanding. A Fulbright scholar and recipient of numerous awards, including the Benjamin Banneker Lifetime Achievement Award and the NCTM Lifetime Achievement Award, Dr. Stiff left an indelible mark on mathematics education, advocating that mathematics is a gateway to opportunity for all students, regardless of their background. Dr. Janet Johnson. From the rural landscapes of Illinois to the forefront of educational advocacy, Dr. Johnson's journey is a story of resilience, discovery, and commitment to equitable education. Growing up, she was fortunate to encounter some of the finest math teachers in her town, an experience that shaped her understanding of the transformative power of education. Contrary to two of her 3 sisters, who lacked access to these exceptional educators and thus grew up doubting their mathematical abilities, Dr. Johnson and one of her sisters were often perceived as math geniuses, illustrating the profound impact of quality teaching. In high school, despite her evident aptitude, she faced discouragement from pursuing college preparatory courses. Her school counselor would not allow her to enroll in college prep courses. After years of waitressing, a friend suggested she apply to a local liberal arts college. Receiving a full scholarship debunked her misconception that such scholarships were only for athletes. She went on to earn a BA in mathematics, followed by an MS in pure mathematics. Her teaching career began in a magnet middle school, where she observed and addressed the tracking of bright, low-income and minority students into lower-level classes. Moving to North Carolina, she entered a PhD program in math education under the mentorship of Dr. Lee Stiff. After earning her doctorate, she worked in program evaluation for a major North Carolina school system, witnessing firsthand the misalignment of services and opportunities for marginalized students. Determined to make a difference, Dr. Johnson founded her own business to evaluate grant-funded education programs, living the transition from serving students based on demographics to using achievement data. Together with Dr. Stiff, she co-founded EdStar Analytics, conducting data academies to empower educators to use data for advocacy and promote access to advanced education.